In the last segment, you noticed that the footer bar tended to float beneath the content instead of fixing itself to the bottom of the screen. And I said you need some kind of fancy CSS to do that on your own. However, if you're going to make it into an actual toolbar, you can use the data position attribute right here and set that value to fixed. When you've done that, and you take a look at this in a browser, or of course on a device, and I'll use Google's Chrome here, you'll notice that regardless of the position or the amount of content, the actual footer bar now fixes itself to the bottom of the screen. Let's go ahead and get just a whole bunch of content here. Get some Latin content. It's good if you need to fill space. And we'll get, I don't know, let's say a good 10 paragraphs of Latin. And I'm just going to grab all that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert that into the HTML itself. There we go. I think that's enough. So right here below our select outside the form, we'll start a paragraph, we'll close a paragraph, and we'll paste in all of that text content. So now let's see what that does in the browser. So now you'll notice our footer stays fixed, and all of that content now simply wraps below it. So that's a convenient way to get a fixed footer. Now, let's go ahead and change the footer up entirely. So before we had data role footer, let's get down here. So here's the div that contains our footer. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change up the content inside it. I'm going to leave that div alone, leave it in the footer, leave it fixed. But in here, I'm going to put another div, and I'm going to set its data role to navbar. And then I'm going to put in here a fairly standard set of navigation tools. So what I'll do is I'll use an unordered list. And each list item will be its own anchor. So let's say we have an info page about our application. Close the anchor, close the link. All right, so let's say we have an information page. Let's say it's a game. We've got like a high score page. So this becomes score.html. And let's say we have a play page to play the game. And finally, we have a frequently asked questions or FAQ page. Just like that. So what we've got is we've got our footer, and inside the footer we've got a nav bar with an unordered list and a bunch of list items. And now you can see we've got the very mobile-esque type of toolbar with all of our links. We can take out this junk that I put in there before. And of course, have my fingers on the right keys. We'll call this Mark's game right there. And there you've got it. And of course, this stays married to the bottom of the page. Let's go ahead and take one look at this in the device. We'll go ahead and load up our iOS environment one more time, and we'll take a look at this in the iPhone simulator. Okay, we've got our simulator loaded up. We can see that while not all the labels fit, we've got our buttons on the bottom of the screen. And of course, we're getting an error loading page because I haven't included the actual pages that those are linked to. But there you've got a very kind of mobile-esque display of a toolbar in the footer of our application.